Okay, rulers, settle down. Ruler School is brought to you by Odyssey Games, where you can go to get pre-orders of all the upcoming Force of Will sets, as well as releases of previous sets after they come out, as well as fowlibrary.com, a wonderful resource for deck lists, article discussions, and more. Check them out at fowlibrary.com, as well as these amazing patrons. Special thanks to guest lecturer member Vite Ramen. Thank you for your support. Class is in session. Hey there, rulers! Welcome back after a long week of Force of Will to Office Hours. Hope you had a wonderful Halloween. We're here. Apparently, I'm still the ghost host, according to Paul, but we're here for Office Hours, your favorite ever live Force of Will podcast featuring this week. It's just me and Paul. I'm trading off Paul and Mike every single week, apparently. I can't get the two of you.
Mike's right here. I don't know what you're talking about. Mike is right here.
You know, the thing is, he said that, yeah, the spirit of Mike has
Wait,
possessed Paul, as opposed to last week.
I play bass in this band.
I think he actually does play guitar and not bass. So, you're learning. Good job.
I also play guitar.
Excellent. Good save. Glad to have you here, buddy. Good to have you back. Thank you guys so much for being here in the chat. Yo-Yo Y and Starlight, good to see you both. Hope you guys enjoy being here tonight. As always, just a few things for housekeeping as we get started. If you like what we do here on Ruler School, want to consider supporting us, first off, click that subscribe button and give this video a like to feed the almighty YouTube algorithm. And then consider clicking that join button down below. It is essentially YouTube's version of a Twitch subscription and goes to help support the channel, be able to do cool stuff and improve our equipment and all kinds of other things. So, and also check out the link in the description to go to Odyssey's pre-orders for Game of Gods. Currently available right now. They have pre-orders for starter decks for both sets, plus pre-release kits, plus boxes. So go check them out. Also, Ryboss96, welcome. Glad to have you here. One of our newest faculty members here on Ruler School. We really appreciate it. And Dennis, congratulations for your GP win, buddy. Getting that invite. We'll see you at Worlds in 2022, because 2021 Worlds has been pushed back again, as expected.
Yes.
So, let's jump into some spoilers, Paul. You ready?
Let's go.
Let's go. First up, we have Hanzo.
Let's go.
Let's go. Hanzo, Ninja of the Moon, 1-drop 4/4 Tails, banish a moon, cancel target chant your opponent controls unless its controller plays 1. Banish a moon. This card gains +4/+4 until end of turn, and then revolutioned. Enter, you may pay X. If you do, put X Wind Moon Edition tokens into the field and recover up to X target magic stones you control. Moons you control gain tap, produce white, blue, or green. It's a ramp card!
It's a cancel.
It's a very good card.
It's a rapid growth.
Yeah, it's good. It's a very good card for sure. Its resonator side specifically is something that is not like I'm not super amazed by it. Like the pumping up is great. The cancel target chant spell is kind of like meh, I guess. It's a Wall of Wind, but Wall of Wind can always kind of be played around. But like you are kind of going negative because you're having to banish something, so it's a little bit weird. Obviously, his revolution effect is the part that we're all kind of looking at the most. Before you ask me, I don't think this card is good on 1. I don't think this is a good card to play on turn 1. If you're trying to.
No, of course
not. Echo, I see you in the chat. You and I have had this conversation. Stop trying to say please ban. Stop it. You know better. You know better. We've had this conversation. You agree with me that this card is not that crazy. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's still very good, but we have plenty of answers to it in the turn 1. I've been talking with a lot of other players. I was talking with Paul Clute of Locals, and Hanzo feels like any other turn 1 mana dork. It's just his potential production, if he successfully resolves, is a lot higher than other turn 1 mana dorks. And what I mean by that is you have to order him, right, in order for him to work. He himself cannot produce any will. He has to successfully resolve the order enter effect of Kaguya to get it, which means that there is a window of time when he is a generic 4/4 J ruler with no additional effect. And so with what we have available to us, even just in any color except for non-Belial white decks, there is an answer to this card to make it so that he doesn't do anything on the turn that he enters. It can possibly get stupid very quick if you can't answer it, but it still feels very much like a ramp card. Like I said, it just has a lot more potential if it lives than other ramp cards. What would you think, Paul?
This has Seal 10 energy. So like, I can draw 3 cards at Seal 10. Oh my gosh, I can burden you for 20 damage at Seal 10. So this is a really good late game mana dork. Am I wrong?
Sure, I think he's significantly better in the mid to late game because you'll already have moons available when you're casting him, and that's why I think that he's a lot better in the mid to late game, because you're going to be able to like float will in response to them trying to kill him or stuff like that. You get a lot more utility out of him in the later game than you do in the early. His like, again, if say we don't answer him on the turn 1, right? We don't have something to stop him. He does essentially ramp you 2, because you'll get a moon off of Kaguya, tap produce to be able to pay for his own activate ability, which then gets you another moon and then recovers a stone, right? So you paid 1 and got 2 moons, one of which is recovered, and you recover your stone. So like, don't get me wrong, that is absolutely something to watch out for. Problem is, I think there are so many ways to punish that play line in every color that I don't think it's your best bet. So
the safest way to play this is late, when you actually have stones to make more moons. In my opinion, like I don't think you're even playing this early game. And if you are, it's just to put a body on board. And if you're just putting a body on board, you're not doing all right, bub.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where I'm at. I'm not saying it's a bad card by any means.
I think it's
very
a good
card. It's something you're going to play later in the game.
I think,
like I said, Seal 10 energy.
I think like
it doesn't mean it's bad.
I think like turn 2, like a turn 2 protected Hanzo where you've already produced some will, produce some moons, or like a turn 3 where you're like really well already invested into your moon stuff, especially based on what Kaguya also shows us to generate moons at quick cast speed, like other things, certainly gives this card a lot more oomph. And early, I mean, like if you can't answer him on turn 1, so it has that energy of like, if you're talking about in the early game, it has kind of that like make you have it kind of vibe when you're playing him on turn 1, so that it is going to be kind of like matchup dependent, right? Like how comfortable do you feel? Like what's the read on your opponent? Because you absolutely can, like Echo says in the chat, like he can pop off on turn 1 and get you a sane amount of will. The problem is that that's looking at the card in a vacuum, and when you expand it outside of that vacuum, we have so much stuff in this cluster and in Saga cluster that can punish that play line without you being able to really protect it in a pretty huge way. So it's a toss-up.
Absolutely.
So next up we have
play 4 of it.
Duh. No reason
play 4 of it.
Yeah, there's no reason to not at least play 4 of it. Just be careful when you play it. Next up we have Seal of Wind and Water. 1 blue, 1 green. Quick cast. Return target non-magic stone, non-J ruler entity you control to its owner's hands. Recover up to 2 magic stones you control. And if you're playing it as Kaguya, you players cannot chase to this card. So it's a self-bounce that's essentially free and unchaseable. Nice little protections piece. If they were going to give me another Seal of Wind and X, I'm glad it's this as opposed to Seal of Wind and Light.
Oh my gosh, no kidding. We really do not need another cancel in the game at this point.
Yeah. At least an unchaseable
I can see...
cancel.
Oh yeah, that's insane. I can see this card being used to recycle your Hanzo. So like you play Hanzo early game, or you play Feasting early game, and then you just put it back into your hand to reuse, and you order it. I can see that being useful.
Yep. I like
we
this.
initially thought it said something different, right?
Yeah.
Like just instant speed free bounce a thing.
Yeah, my first read of this card, I missed that it was you control. So like I'm glad it says that. I mean, this pairs really well with Feasting, right? Because Feasting you can order her and then unorder her when she's a resonator, thus getting past the non-J ruler part of this to be able to like reuse Feastings. You still do have to have the initial cost of 2, which is I'm glad it says that, as opposed to like this card is free if you were playing Kaguya or something like that. It feels like a cancel in the sense that you're like making an opponent's card kind of worthless, but it's more of like a high speed dash. So situational application for where this card starts to fall. Like it definitely, I think, becomes a lot more meta dependent, because high speed dash also very quickly went like in and out of favor in metas for the same kind of reason, and that was just for J rulers. So this has a similar kind of energy to it, but I like it. It's a cool card.
Yeah, just solid utility card.
Seal of Wind and Wind. Good one, Ryboss. I like that. That's the next. That's Kaguya 7's spell. Seal of Wind and Wind.
There you go.
There you go. My right click on my mouse is having a hard time here. Hey, all that's left is Seal of Water and Light, and we're golden. You're right, Vampire. That would be the next one. Seal of Water and Light. That might be nice. Going into some Brunhild here. Brunhild, Sign of Faith. 2 white and 1 Valkyrie with Villain's Flying Drain. Oh, one thing that I would like to point out. From what we have been told, we are still waiting for the official CR information, but it does appear that the Villain's keyword and the Tails keyword will carry with them a deck building restriction outside of Order Rulers. Meaning that in a non-Order Ruler deck, you can still only play Villains or Tails. That's what we've been told. We're still waiting on absolutely confirmation of that. But if that's the case, I kind of like that, because it makes me go, yeah, okay. That drives me to want to try to use these cards specifically with the new rulers, rather than how do I take these and play them in tag, or how do I take the most broken combination of Tails and Villains and play them in tag, right? Because you can't use both. So as we get into that, just wanted to make that known from what we know so far. Echo, I want Seal of Wind and Darkness. It says you pay green black, you win the game. That's fair. That's a fair card, I think.
That's welcome to Force of Will.
Seal 20. Seal 20. Pay green
Seal
black,
20.
Pay green black, win the game. If you've survived till 20 stones, you deserve it. Just unchaseable, win the game for two color.
You're not wrong.
so Brunhild, 2 white and 1 Villain Flying Drain, 10/10 with enter. Put target non-chant light card from your graveyard into the field. So it can't be an alternative card, because alternative cards are typically chants. If this card would be put into a graveyard from anywhere, remove it from the game instead. If you do, it gains. If an effect you control would refer to the total cost of a light card in any zone, you may refer to that total cost plus 2 instead, as long as it is in your removed area. Man, that's a mouthful. Essentially, when Brunhild is RFG'd, cards go plus 2. Card count plus 2. Semantics. And then if she's revolutionized, you apply the revolution keyword abilities of all light resonators you control. That's a lot.
That's pretty dope.
Yeah.
But also, like, that's what we come to expect from Brunhild, being the general of Odin, right?
Yeah.
Like, bring the bodies.
Yeah, bring the noise, right? Bring the hammer down. I like this a lot. I think this is very cool. I like that Brunhild has 3 very distinct applications, even as a resonator. Like, just as a resonator, she has implications. Like, casting her from the hand, even as a resonator, reanimates me a thing. That's dope. Casting her as an order means that it gives me a field utility of buffing up all of my units. That's pretty dope. Milling her off of an Odin search gives me utility because she'll immediately get RFG'd and start adding to my count. That's pretty cool. Like there's so many. I'm really, really looking forward. The thing that this card gets me so excited about is I'm really looking forward to seeing more of the count total cost stuff that Odin's going to bring. Like, what total cost things am I looking for that I want to add additional cost to it? Right? That makes me very, and I think we've already seen that with Odin enters the game of the gods a little bit, which we'll talk about later, because we also saw it as the pre-release promo. But I'm even more excited for what the rest of the support suite looks like in this way.
Oh, absolutely.
Good thing Final Stance is rotating. Yes.
Yeah, unless you're in Wanderer. Yeah, that's the thing. I think this card is amazing. Just the idea that you can just bring back a light thingy, and it doesn't have to be. It's not a chant, which means it can be a regalia, which means it can be an addition, which I don't think is unrelevant. Speaking of Final Stands, but I mean, I always like this mechanic in Bruno Hill. El Dorado. Oh my gosh, here he comes.
El Dorado.
Here comes the boy.
Oh yeah, Yo-Yo Y brings up an excellent point here. She gives access to Revolution cards that you reanimate, because normally you wouldn't be able to order them if you're like cheating them in off of reanimation spell. That's a good point. That's very, very neat.
That's very solid. Yes, Dennis. I did say Wanderer. I love Wanderer.
Yeah, we're having a good time with Wanderer lately.
It's an interesting format. Very interesting. I don't know what else to say about this card. I like the fact that this thing just really just feels like the linchpin for this whole strategy of Odin. Like, as these cards that are based on the general should be, right? Like,
yeah, absolutely.
These are it.
It feels very much like this is a super rare for what Odin wants to do, right? And I would say that Hanzo feels very much like a super rare for what the Kaguya deck wants to do, right? So I think they've got that vibe pretty well. As like, this is a body that you want to... It almost kind of feels like, if we're talking about the Marvel rares, like the Marvel rares kind of felt like you don't really need to order them. Like, they're just gonna do good stuff even if you don't order them, because they're Marvels. But these two super rares, like, I mean, except Garmhild. Like, Garmhild you have to order for him to make sense. But but like, these two feel like if you order these, you're gonna feel good about it. Like, that's how you want to be primarily playing them, because of the benefit they give, which is awesome to see these like previous envoys of the high gods suddenly being bestowed with the power of the high god, and then like being able to go to face and do crazy stuff. So good thematics, good character choices. I like it. This is air on Super Crack. Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, Odin's definitely feeling like a stun deck for sure. Because, like, imagine ordering this and then grabbing a Mistletoe out of the graveyard, right? So then the Mistletoe enters and she's going to be ordered. And then you have that, like, stun lock, reanimate kind of stuff that you got going on. Like, it's good stuff. It's good stuff. I like it.
Imagine these with Road to the Sacred Queen. That is rotating. Yeah, this seems like a good, strong core of cards.
But do remember that she does say target light thing on enter, so you'll have to have a target when she resolves, meaning that you don't like get to mill something with the Odin that mills and then target that. You have to have a target in advance. Just notes.
It also means you can zap whatever in the grave too. So that's always good.
Yeah, you can.
Otherwise, she would have been super broken.
Yeah, for sure. Let's see. Next up, we have Wind of Asgard, 1-drop white, quick cast. You and entities you control gain barrier until end of turn. If playing it as Odin, you can play this card without paying its cost. White, yeah, Magic. This is Magic Suites now. Feel old yet? Although Magic Suites was 3 years ago, that was Lapis Cluster, right?
Oh, not even 3. That was
Lapis
like
Cluster.
4 years ago.
Yeah, 4 years ago.
It was 4 years ago.
I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that evolution. Yeah, I like this a lot.
Absolutely.
This is a cool card for sure. I like that it's one even just by itself, like that has tech usability, especially when we're in a world of like Charlotte, right? This is another nice little spell for Charlotte to be able to grab if you're playing the white Charlotte Resonator. But then even as Odin, just that's really cool. Also, keep in mind that if you're playing as Odin, I'll have to see, but if you're playing as Odin and you're playing as Charlotte, you can get this off of a Charlotte for free.
Mm-hmm.
So you could potentially play a 1-cost Charlotte in response to a God's Art, and then give yourself Barrier for free for the turn. Let's do it.
5 years ago. 5 years ago.
Yeah, Sweets also gave 200. Like the designers have a look at New
that's
Valhalla
true.
cluster and just thought to themselves, what if we combined this and this card? Would that be broken? Nah. I mean, like, this stuff feels... I think
It doesn't feel out of balance.
Yeah, it doesn't feel out of balance. Like, there are cards that have some explosive tendency, but, like, I would say that it's no more explosive than some of the explosive stuff we saw out of the New Valhalla design, right? Because some of the cards in New Valhalla were like, this is answerable, but if I don't answer it, shit. Like, that was present even back in New Valhalla. So, but I get what you're saying, Dennis, in terms of like general increase in power for sure. But also keep in mind that New Valhalla was 3 clusters ago. So,
there's feel old yet?
Yeah, there's some precedence for that.
What if I told you New Valhalla was 30 clusters ago?
It's certainly not. I'm not that old. I mean, I look forward to the day where we can say that New Valhalla was 30 clusters ago.
Me too, buddy.
I'll still be here on Monday nights, podcasting away at the tender age of 60.
Well, we're here at Neo Valhalla, which is New Valhalla, but in Latin.
So next up, to go more into the wonderful world of Odinstone, we have Dark Sun. No moons for you. Dark Sun. 1-drop white quick cast. Your opponent banishes non-Magic Stone, non-J ruler entity. If you are playing as Odin, entities your opponent controls lose all races. And if you're playing as Loki, your opponent cannot pay any cost that includes banishing an entity. I like that it has 2 different force resonances on it. That's very cool for like deck building design.
Love that design space.
I'm really looking at all of your stuff loses all of its entities. Namely, that your moons aren't moons anymore. Sit down.
Sun's up. No moons. Cry.
No moons. Only suns. Only face. No moons.
Well, just the added benefit of like it makes your opponent go -1, which is really nice.
Yeah.
But then it could potentially just turn off their whole strategy.
Yeah.
And it works with both the villains rulers against Kaguya.
Yes.
So if Kaguya is like this really powerful ruler, this thing is just there to shut it down.
Yeah. I really
we
like
don't
this
have
card a lot.
Sacrificial Altar. We don't have Sigurd. It's a quick cast edition, by the way.
Yeah, I like that fact that it's just a quick cast edition, right?
That's gonna be a theme here with Odin. Dear God.
Throw a sun, throw a moon, or throw a sword. Just throw stuff at him. Also, this also answers the Alice Palace combo completely in Wanderer.
Also, this is a good way of turning off all of the demonic worlds in Wolfgang.
Stop! Don't tell me about this. My boy Wolfgang didn't need this. How dare you?
Hey, Wolfgang, look, sun.
Wolfgang has edition hate. It's okay.
It'll be fine.
Yeah, I like this card a lot. I think it's very, very cool. It's very clearly designed with a dark deck archetype in mind to prevent, but it does have significant implications outside of even dual cluster. Even, and also in limited, like this card's a pretty neat card in limited too. Like even just the quick cast Force of Banish is going to be neat. So I like this card a lot. I like this card for its design. Its artwork's a little I think it's probably going to look really good full art.
Promo.
Maybe a promo. I'd be down for a Dark Sun promo. Cool card. I like it a lot. Can we appreciate the fact that they're bringing quick cast editions back? Yeah, I'm for it. Let's do it. Bring it back. Next up we have 1-cost look at hand discard spell for this cluster. We lost 2 of them. We got to get another one back. One falling from fate. 1-cost target opponent. That's very different.
So you can barrier yourself.
So if you have barrier protection, you can get around it. Dark Atlas's Smile always said your opponent. Same with Scorn. Target opponent reveals their hand, choose a card with tails or villains from among them, and remove it from the game. This is the discard spell. The 1-drop black discard spells in Force of Will's history always cycle in and out of meta competency based on what players are playing, right? People were playing Scorn, then we went to Smile, then we went to Nothing, then we went back to Smile. Like, it's going to be the same with this. But it's cool to have. I stand on the precedent that there should always be some kind of 1-drop black discard spell in rotation at all times. So this is a great way to reintroduce that to me.
Well, also this will mostly be hitting resonators because I don't think there's any tails or villains chance or additions at this point, right?
Not that we've seen.
So this is like basically a Scorn that removes that resonator from the game. Don't hit Brunhild.
No, you could hit Brunhild because she wouldn't gain the ability.
Oh, she wouldn't gain. Oh, right, because it's if you do, then you gain the effect.
So you could hit the Brunhild.
It's an if you do effect.
Yep, you could absolutely hit the Brunhild.
So hit the Brunhild, actually.
Yeah,
hit the Brunhild.
Hit the Brunhild. Yeah, cool card. 1-drop black discard necessary in Force of Will. I'm down for it.
It's always going to be good in this game.
Yep.
Always.
Next up, we have our red card, Isis, the Heat of the Sand. 2 red, quick cast 7/7 with tails. Resonance of Fire Magic Stone, produce for 1 red. Banish a Magic Stone to draw a card. And if you revolutionize her, you can... That's the new... By the way, I've officially determined, community in the chat, you guys know this now. Paul, you know this now. It is now revolutionizing. That is the moniker that we're using for this. So when she's revolutionized, you put the top card of your Magic Stone deck into the field rested. At the next end of turn, put the bottom of its owner's Magic Stone deck. So a very simple like cantrip out here. It produces 1 red for you to have like a nice little follow-up play. Or if you really need to, can cantrip into drawing you a card because you can just banish that stone that came into play tapped. 20 Fire Magic Stone Nyarlathotep looking more and more like a deck. Like,
oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Like 20 basic fires. Let's just go. Which, great. Let's do it. I'm for it. Like, let's bring that kind of deck idea back. People playing that many stone
I like how this card just turns every Fire Magic Stone you have into an Atom Stone, which is nice. If you need it.
Or
in the late game.
Yeah, or any stone in general. Just, I need to get draw.
And it's got quick cast, which is nice. Just, why not?
Yeah.
It doesn't need swiftness, just needs quick cast.
Yeah, sure. Like, it again, this feels very much, this feels like a, how do I want to put this? The Marvel Rares, I think I have a further clarification of my other Marvel Rare Revolutionized statement. The Marvel Rares, when ordered, feel like you order them, they've done their job, they can be done now, right? It's like they get their most value when you order them, and they just need to hit the board to order, and then that's as far as they need to go, right? It's Garmheld becomes a copy of something else, those things. The super rares of these like champions feel like they are the cards that benefit the most from a long-term ordering. Like, the longer you can keep this card on the field and protect it ordered, the more value it's going to generate you in the long term. Which is a cool dichotomy between super rares and Marvel Rares. Like, that's a very cool design space to kind of explore. And so I dig it. I dig it a lot.
Yeah. Well, I also really like this where if you call a stone normally, you just double up on will, essentially.
Yeah.
Because the stone will come in recovered, which means it can produce a will in conjunction with the will that you're producing off of Isis, which means you can make bigger plays. So there's something there that I think is really fascinating. Honestly, that might be the best thing on this card. It's just every time you get a Fire Magic Stone,
double up on will.
There you go.
Red. This is the thing that says like red's gonna go face quickly. Like, red's gonna be like the turn things sideways, very aggressive deck. Which I think is great, because I think that red, outside of gimmick burn, hasn't really been, or like burst combo, but like I don't really even know if you can call Violet a red deck, except that she's a red ruler. But like red as a color identity hasn't really had like a go fast deck. like in a pure red package for quite some time. So
Mm.
this is a cool way to kind of give it the support it needs to kind of maintain that.
The closest thing we've had is probably My List Burn, right?
Yeah,
With
like,
Mujdart.
yeah, that's the closest.
Because you can like flip My List and like do a whole bunch of damage to the board, swinging for like 2100.
Yeah.
And that's probably the closest thing we've had.
Yeah, but
in
like
a while.
the reason why Mylist was able to do that was because of the will efficiency of the like tapping a Mylist or a Mujdart. So this is giving you a different way to get will efficiency by instead of making things cheap, you just are producing a lot more, which is like going in the opposite direction, but still kind of provides you a similar benefit. So I'm excited to see what this means.
Gotcha.
So
Frank,
when you bring up a really good
go
point.
ahead.
I'm going to explain this real quick because I'm going to go. No, I think Baja is go fast. I just don't think Baja is red go fast. I think Baja is a burst deck. I don't really think that Baja's necessarily red. I think he's a combo deck that just happens to be a color of red. If that makes any sense, Toby. But that's me. Okay, so Frank, this is a really good this is a big thing. So the new rulers are these. These are they have this ability called Revolution Order, where instead of doing Judgment, when you are choosing to play a Resonator, you can order them, which is essentially kind of like bestowing the power of the High God into that Resonator. There, instead of being a Resonator, then it comes into the field as a J ruler, and when it is like that, it gains its ordered, the revolutionized text. So, and then our J rulers, when they flip, they look like this. For this cluster, they look like these. They're called orders, which they're not a J ruler, but they are like granting their additional text onto that resonator. So in the sense of this Isis, when you order the Isis, when she enters, she will ramp you in that stone into play tapped. But if you just play her as a regular resonator, she won't do that. Only when she's ordered will she do that. So it's kind of like we've taken away Judgment for this cluster and replaced it with this like repeatable kind of card text manipulation system that also creates like a minor buff from the order itself to the card. I hope that makes sense. There are articles on the fowtcg website that kind of break it down in text form a little bit better, but I hope that was a good enough explanation for you. Welcome back to the game. Glad to have you here. You're in for a fun time. Game's a lot of fun right now. Next up, we have Malua, the Mage of Ma'at. 2 red, quick cast, 7/7 tails. When this card is destroyed, it deals damage equal to its attack to your opponent. And then if you revolutionize it, discard your hand. This card deals 1,000 damage multiplied by the number of cards discarded this way to each J/Resonator, then draw 4 cards. This is a both sides board reset hand refill when ordered. I'm for it. I think it's very cool. I like the fact that it hits both sides of the board. It also hits your opponent for 7 damage in this sense because it will kill itself. Cool card. Has some neat implications for trying to be like tricksy with burn and stuff that I don't think is super applicable or super relevant, but it's something you can definitely try to do for fun. I do like the fact that it's a hand refill for red, but it's a hand refill for red with a cost in the sense that like you're burning your own board for it. It's not just free.
I'm reading this card as 2 costs, red, quick cast resonator, deal 700 damage to your opponent, draw 4 cards.
Yes. Yeah. I'm thinking of it the same way.
You know, it's pretty good. And if I remember correctly, and you can just tell me if I'm wrong, you can order this because it has quick cast on your opponent's turn. Is that right?
As long as your your ruler is on the regular side. Yep. You can order once per
good.
You can order once per turn. So, if it's dead during your turn, you can order during your opponent's. Yes, absolutely. The produce red is very good. If ordered, it gets you a free rabbit dash.
You get
Isis,
2 stones, then you can.
For Isis, if you haven't called stone yet, when you order Isis, it gets you a free rabbit dash. Because it only ramps you in 1 stone into play, so it's only going to produce you 1 will. And that stone that's ramped into play is tapped, so you produce 1 will when you order the Isis if you've already called stone, and you need 2 will for Rabbit Dash.
They might be thinking about
Scarlet.
I think it was Scarlet gives you 2 stones, right?
Yeah, Scarlet
Not
gives
Isis.
you Scarlet gives you 2 stones, but when ordered, but Scarlet also doesn't produce anything. So you'd have to have an Isis on the field and then order a Scarlet.
He's getting the amount of stones. He's getting the amount of stones mixed up, I think.
Yeah, potentially. Isis does hit a Firestone, that's true, but it comes into play tapped. So, am I wrong? Did I read Isis wrong?
Nope.
Rested.
You did not.
Yeah, it comes into field rested. So if you hit a Fire Magic Stone off of Isis, you get 1 will. You need 2 will total. You'd need a second stone or a second call stone to be able to get that free card off of it. Yeah, I mean, obviously, if you order it and then call a stone, yes, you have a free Rabbit Dash there, for sure. But specifically by itself, just casting it does not get you a free Rabbit Dash. Yeah, Rybos missed that it comes into play tapped. That's why we look at the chat for questions. Ha! For clarifications. Thank you, Paul, for getting that link for Frank.
So what I do.
Cool red stuff. Which it takes a lot for me to be interested in red stuff. Paul can attest that it takes a lot for Jeremy to be interested in red cards, and I'm interested in these red cards.
Yeah, I guess it does. I mean, you really did like Welser back in the day. The Gods Art Welser.
Oh, the Gods Art Welser was
stuff.
Yeah, the Gods Art Welser was fun. Like, that's a card that got me interested in red cards. It's very hard for me to be interested in red cards regardless.
He remembers the days.
I do remember
the days of Baja Blast. So
okay, here we go. Yeah, just. I remember the days of mono red blazer beating my teeth in as a Dark Alice deck. So moving on, we have Volmol, the Snake of Knowledge, 1 blue, 4/4 villain with Eternal, that has the ability of pay 1 blue, target J/Resonator, and this card lose all abilities until end of turn. And then if you revolutionize it, you enter and draw 3 cards. This combos really nicely with the card that we saw from Loki that said discard 2 water cards rather than pay its cost, or RFG 2 water cards rather than pay its cost. This card is great. I like this card a lot.
I want to play this on turn 1.
Every game. Every
game.
game.
Order this. Immediately just have full hand size. Let's go.
Yeah, this is a very cool card. One thing to note about its repeatable blue ability is that you can repeat it multiple times in the same chase before it loses the ability to pay for blue. So you can like pay 2 blue and remove the abilities from 2 things because the effect is already on the chase, which is dope. This also gives it a way for you to be able to use Loki to kill it by paying that blue effect, so that Loki can then be better set up to play another one or to play another ordered Resonator. And once again is very much feeding into this idea that I'm feeling is coming from Loki of kill your own dudes, get benefit. Just saying, that feels very much like the vibe we have going on here from Loki. Like, throw your minion under the bus, get a better effect.
Very villainous thing to do.
Very villainous thing to do. I like it. I like this card a lot. I think it's cool designed. I can't wait to see it full art. I think it's going to look great. Yeah. Let's start stealing enter effects. So, and then we have Water Magic of Ma'at. 1 drop 2/4. When this card is destroyed, draw a card. If you revolutionize it, enter, put up to 1 target Resonator and up to 1 target addition on the bottom of those owner's decks in any order. This is, I mean, like,
oh, this is a really good normal.
Like, it's not like it's not a good proactive play, right? Because you don't have anything to target. But like, this is a 3-for-1, right? Like,
yeah,
you play it, you put a body on. So like, let's go card advantage, right? So I play a card, I'm at net 0 because I cast a card and I probably ordered it. I bounce 2 things, I'm at +2. I kill it, so I'm back down to net +1, and then I draw a card because I killed it, so I'm back up to +2. Like, this card is a +2 every time you order it, provided your opponent has additions. And they go to the bottom of the deck. Like,
Yeah, you're not seeing those. Oh, you should have mulliganed those by.
yeah. This card is absolutely going to be insane in limited. Like, if there
Oh yeah.
if
Card's
the
fantastic.
if the draft ruler in limited is ordering, like, this card is absolutely the limited bomb of the set. Like, just by itself as a 2/4. That's insane. Cool card. Great card.
So let's think about if you revolution it and there's not, so it's up to 1 target resonator and up to 1 target addition. So you don't even need the addition on the field.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So you just, even if you just hit the resonator and then you use Loki to pop it, sure, that seems like a good turn to me.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what Loki wants to do, right? Pop all this stuff, draw a card. Great.
Yeah, seems
I didn't
great.
lose any advantage.
Yeah, seems absolutely great. Or like, I've got this body. Oh, you're not gonna kill it? Cool, I'll just kill it myself and draw a card off of it. I like this card a lot. I think it's great. I Echoes, like, for the love of God, gives it quick cast. Yeah, I mean, like, that would be the icing on the cake, and I would expect this card to be a rare if it had quick cast for 1. This card feels like a very solid 1-drop normal as it stands.
This is send back now. Do you feel old yet?
Sendback looks at this card and, like, retires itself from force of will. It's just like
sends itself back.
Sends itself back. Like, it can't. Chelina looks at this card and goes, "Oh, this is what I could have been." Great.
Yeah.
It's literally yoink the card. Idea for a Loki chant card: 1 cost, reveal the bottom card of your deck, and if it's not a chant, put it into the field. That's an interesting idea for, like, the trickery of Loki. Like, put your own stuff back and then, like, kind of reanimate it that way.
That sounds... We need to workshop that.
It'd be interesting, for sure. I don't know why you would do that.
Yeah, we need to workshop that.
But it'd be a cool effect.
It would have to have the, like, force resonance trickery.
It'd have to be a Loki card.
And it's got, like, the scry effect, right?
Yeah.
For C2, and then, God's resonance trickery, and then you can actually do, like, that might make sense, but even still, you need to workshop that.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
We need to figure that out a little bit better.
Burglemere. Let's go.
Burgle.
2.
So Kaguya enters the game of gods. We've seen this card before. We just have the new artwork. Oh yeah, it is a good card against Wolfgang too, for sure. Just
oh my gosh.
Although it does
2 in the main, 2 in the side.
Although it does put the addition back in the deck for Wolfgang to grab, so maybe not quite as great. Maybe
if you can keep on tempo, I think it makes sense, because then they still have to spend will to bring that back out instead of playing other things.
Yeah, for sure.
So you're setting them back. I mean,
yeah, maybe put the jewel back. I can see that for sure.
Oh, put the jewel back.
Kaguya enters the game of the
really
gods. So put a wind moon edition token into the field, draw a card. Target entity you control gains barrier until end of turn, draw a card. Very weird that it's giving something barrier when it doesn't have quick cast. But good, don't give it quick cast. You may destroy all moons. Force Resonance Moon. You may destroy all moons you control. This card deals 500 damage multiplied by the number of moons destroyed this way to target player or J/Resonator. This is a big bang finish for Kaguya.
Yeah.
Which is
in Wanderer, you can use the Alice from the Faria structure deck to make all your Resonators moons. Don't do it.
I'm sorry. That's very silly, and I like it.
Don't do it.
I mean, don't.
Well, Jeremy, do it for the channel. Everyone else, don't do it.
You got it.
This is our job.
We do the stupid thing, so you don't have to. this feels very cool. Like it feels like a control finisher, right? It feels like, I've been playing the game. Is it strange that it has a similar vibe to me as 12 Kimonos does, but just being more streamlined? Because 12 Kimonos was this idea of like, I stack up a bunch of additions, I win the game, right? This is that same kind of vibe, except I don't have to run 12 Kimonos in my deck. It feels like I get enough kimono, I get enough moons. Okay, now I can win. Which again, Mike and I talked about this last week. It feels very like pinnacleized in terms of like, this is peak Kaguya power, but this still feels like Kaguya decks from literally era 1 vibe. I build up enough additions and then I win the game. You know, that's how she's always been. Time spending, which doesn't really count there because but the rest of them has always been about build up enough additions, win the game. So this feels very similar to that.
Yeah. And my favorite card from the spoiler, that this day's spoilers, is pretty fun. I love this card.
Oh, the moon, wind moon.
Mm-hmm.
Wind moon. 1 green moon edition. You may play this card without paying its will cost. If you control if a wind jet/J ruler was put into the field under your control this turn, enter, draw a card. Paul,
I like it.
Why do you like this card so much?
So we have Feasting as a card.
Yep.
We have Hanzo as a card. They're all very low costed.
Yeah.
And they all rely on your moons. So the fact that you just get to like put these into the field for free if they're just in your hand, and then just replace them and ramp and give yourself like more additions. I just love it, man. I just love it. Plus, it has some implications being a 1-cost moon edition in Wanderer.
Ooh.
So I do like that. There are some applications for this.
Are you gonna play Little Red the Wolf Girl in Wanderer? Do you have a turn 1 moon?
There should have been a very long time ago a really low-costed moon. This is
yeah. When are we getting moon?
Fun things gonna happen.
When are we getting moon?
Moon.
Moon. We had Fairy Tale Moon, and we got Wind Moon. Prison in the Lunar Lake.
We're gonna get Fruit Moon soon.
Fruit Moon. Frank Fiore,
Snake Moon.
You absolutely can ask a question about FOW not related to the stream. That is what Office Hours is literally all about. Why is this not Quickcast? This absolutely should not be Quickcast. Stop. Like, we have Feathsing as a Wind Quickcast orderable card, which would make this card free, and you want to give this card Quickcast. Stop. Like,
I think this also on its own makes Hanzo a little bit better.
Yes.
Because all of a sudden you have like 1, 2, maybe even 3 moons in your hand that you can just play, and then all of a sudden you're ramping. So I do like that this just like sort of works with Hanzo and gives him a little bit more utility.
Yeah, it's very cool. So, and again, it again speaks to that idea of like a Hanzo on 2, right? Or a Hanzo on 3. To be able to set up some protection for him or some reactionary elements to him prior to when he comes down, rather than trying to gun for him so early by himself. Why isn't Hanzo Quickcast? Seems fair. Why do you people listen? Look. Not everything has to have Quickcast, okay? Especially green stuff. Green stuff has enough Quickcast. It's okay. Gonna be okay. Stop it. Okay. Next up, we have Odin enters the game of the gods in this artwork, which I honestly like this artwork more than the promo variant because we talked about this before. He's so far away from the front of the frame on the promo artwork, and here he's like, "Hi, I'm here now." So I like this card art a lot more. 1-cost Quickcast white enter chance. Choose one, look at the top 3 cards of your deck, put one of them into your hand, one of them into your graveyard, and remove one of them from the game. That's mode 1. So our nice little replacement for everybody's favorite and competent investigator. Put X +1/+1 counters on target J/Resonator you control, where X is the highest total cost among entities you control, which would then be bigger if you have a Bruno Hill removed. And then Force Resonance Faith, destroy up to one target non-magic stone non-magic stone entity with total cost X or less, where X is the highest total cost among entities you control. I mean, like, you get a Bruno Hill removed, and even if you control a 1-cost thing, this is a pay 1, kill anything 3 or less. Seems great.
They're all the best cards in the game anyway, so
just fine. Yeah, seems just fine. This card's very good. This card is a very good utility card. It gets you draw power, it gets you pump power, it gets you removal as Odin. Even outside of Odin, this card is very good. So very cool card and a nice artwork. Okay, going to the questions. Are 6 Sages banned in Wanderer? Why is the Feasting the J-Ruler banned, or is it only banned in that format, unlegal in another? So yes, Feasting is banned in Wanderer. Yeah, Paul puts it right. Because of the triple mulligan that Feasting offered in Wanderer, you had these ridiculous, the ridiculous high element of like combos. Like combo decks just became so degenerate because it became super easy for them to find their combo pieces off of 3 mulligans with Feasting. So that was kind of nipped in the bud before she got too much longer.
So like, think Incarnation Cthulhu's cards you can play for free. Things that we don't have in New Frontiers.
Yeah.
I'm not saying those are the reasons, but
yeah.
The other 6 Sages are not banned. It is just the 6 Sage Feasting Tag Ruler.
Yes.
That's it.
Correct. Specifically the Magic Stone War Feasting Tag Ruler, that is banned. Everything else is okay. Yo-Yo Wide, prideful rule, but instead of making tokens, it gets you a card and sets up grave. Well, it's only choose one. So if you're gonna pop something, it's not. But it has like flexibility, unlike Prideful Rule. Prideful Rule can only pop a thing, and it generates you a token when you do that. But this, it can pop a thing, or set up, or get you a card. So it's like versatility versus necessarily raw destructive power. So that's a shame. It's so good in a control shell. Well, I mean, it did. Feasting in New Frontiers did just win a GB. So you're right. In a control shell, it's very, very good. It's just in the Wanderer format with the card pool being what it is.
To answer Echo's thing, yeah, you can. The revolutionized Resonator is a J Ruler, which means it is an entity.
Well, even
you can't kill it.
Even a regular J Ruler, one that, because that's an entity of cost 0. So Odin enters the Game of Gods just by itself, can kill any regular J Ruler because they all have cost of 0.
Flip your Gru Ballesta. Well, it's dead now. Because you played it bad and didn't have Eternal.
Yeah. There you go. And then our last card for the night, the Holy Sword of Mistletoe.
I think it's so extra.
7. Yeah. It's all good, Frank. No worries at all. You're coming back to the game, so you're on the right track.
Yeah.
So it's a 7-drop, 1 white, 6 colorless. Quick cast Eternal. Isn't the pop effect separate from the choose one? Yes, 3393 Matthew. Yes, that is correct. You get to choose to kill something, or look at the top 3, or put counters on with Odin. So quick cast Eternal. If more than 1,000 damage would be dealt to you, 1,000 damage is dealt to you instead. So it kind of gets you a damage cap. You can awaken it for 1 white to destroy target rested J/Resonator. And if you're playing it as Odin, this card costs 1.
Yep. So don't play it anywhere else.
Yeah.
It's bad everywhere else.
Unless you're playing it with Brunhild. Brunhild can just grab this because it's a light edition.
Oh, yeah. I mean, correct. Which you're probably playing in Odin. So, yeah.
Yeah.
The Mustang Lounge.
I don't know what that means.
Oh, no. Ashton, no.
Okay. Moving on from that statement.
Oh, my gosh. Because of the Holy Sword?
Sorry,
Oh my
sorry.
gosh.
Good point there, Matthew. Yeah, we were sorry for the way we were discussing it. Yes, it is 3 separate choices. If you're playing it as Odin. Yes, Dennis can validate Jeremy's statement about mood certain feats and get new frontiers. Yes, it is a control shell, and it wins control. It is a very good control shell. So yeah, this is a cool card.
I think the destruction effect on the sword is the best thing. And it's quick cast, so and it's got eternal.
Yeah, just can't ever be killed. Yeah. Another white ruler who gets to tell Baja Blast to stop. That's a nice Bahamut. Would be a shame if someone played this and said that Bahamut can hit me for $1,000. Okay. Mooge's those together seem absurd. Mood shirt's almost like $60 now, and I want one. Yeah, her price has gone up. Odin, I'm gonna build Odin Pillow Fort with Holy Sword and Castle of Belial. So do the replacement effect to take it down to $1,000, and then do a secondary replacement effect to take it down to 600. Neat. Odin's definitely feeling like a stun deck.
Yeah, it's gonna be hard to kill him.
Kevin Spencer on Odin's. I thought you get the Faith's Resonance and one of the top 2 abilities, so you get 2 abilities on it. Let's go back and read the text.
Yeah, that's what it seems like.
You're correct. Because it isn't and choose one instead. Yes, or as you choose this instead. You are correct. So I stand corrected on my correction, Kevin Spencer. So not only do you get to do the look at the top 3, and or put X +1/+1 counters, but you do also get to destroy. So it's destroy and peak, or destroy and setup. So good job, Kevin, correcting us on our corrections of the corrections with the
reading
corrections.
cards. Reading cards is meta.
Reading cards is meta. So cards very good.
Whew.
Cards very good. This is cool stuff. I mean, there is stuff that we've seen that's been spoiled that gives me a lot of excitement for when they go up against the tag rulers. There's also cards in here that I think, there's nothing that I think that is going to just straight blow tag or other ADW, or other previous cards out of the water. Like, I don't think Saga Cluster is going to be overwritten by these rulers. But I also don't think that these rulers are going to be anything to scoff at, even out the gate, against the stuff that we have from Saga Cluster.
Oh, absolutely.
So,
yeah, they're definitely looking like they can hold their own. They look slower, like more mid-rangey.
Yeah,
with the exception of maybe Gnarly.
Gnarly looks fast.
That's about it.
Gnarly looks very fast.
Yeah, she's just
turn things sideways.
Which, I mean, I guess the Holy Sword says, well, you're not just going to be able to just kill me. Which is probably good, right? Just like slow down. Stop.
Okay.
That's all. That's about all we got.
The big question I have, so I have 2 questions as we go into the rest of these spoilers. As we wait. 1, what mass edition removal will we get, if any? Right? Because we're due for a good mass edition piece, right? Because it does very much feel like it feels very much like they are building well to support the rulers and building well to have counterplay within these rulers, right? So to that end, if one of your rulers is producing a crap ton of editions, then you would think that somewhere in this set is probably mass edition removal. So I'm excited to see what that brings us. And then the other thing that I'm very excited, that I'm like curious about, I had it and then I lost it. Paul, I'm going to think about it. Paul, what are you hoping to see kind of as we go into the rest of these spoilers?
I think what I really want to hope to see is just more filled out. I I see Kaguya's really powerful cards, though that's really great. But as we kind of said, like Feasting is one of those cards where it's like as the game goes longer, it's gonna get better. As the game goes longer, Hanzo's gonna get better. As the game goes longer, Isis is gonna get better. What I want to see is what do we do in the meantime? Like what's my starting play? And I'm not sure I saw anything outside of like the Loki snake that can actually do that.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. The two
can
things.
you astral a revolutionized? They do not become astral.
You cannot astral a revolutionized Rezo. So no, you cannot play Virgil off of an ordered Rezo for free. Great question, Kevin. You can't. It has been defined that the act of making a J ruler astral is to kill it, move it to your ruler zone, and put an astral counter on it. A revolutionized resonator cannot go to the ruler zone, and as such cannot fulfill the requirements of being made astral. Therefore, you cannot make them astral to play Virgil. Hooray! So there's two other things that there's two outside of the mass edition removal. I want to see what, if any, spot removal greed is going to get. I really hope it's none. Because that has been kind of Green's through line weakness that they've really like stuck to over the span of the past cluster. So I would like to see that continued. That like Kaguya is the control ruler, but once things stick, she's gonna have a hard time getting rid of them, which would be which would make order rulers really good against her because like she doesn't have a way to remove a huge body. Uncancelable bodies are gonna be a problem, right? So like I want to see that. And then what Loki is going to do with all of this self-destruction stuff. Like what's going to be the payoffs? Like what kind of other payoffs are we going to kind of see in terms of interacting with my opponent's board for killing my own stuff? Because it very much feels like that's what Loki's driving towards, and I want to see what that payoff is. Because as of right now, Loki feels the least flushed out. And I want to see more of what Loki's going to bring. I want to see more of what Loki's going to bring to the table. I'm excited, but excited. Kevin Spencer, astral is astral is the terminology for when a ruler is dead and cannot rejudgment. So when a ruler dies, it is made astral, or it gains an astral counter. But a card named Virgil that was just printed in this past set said that you could pay its cost by making your ruler astral, which is the act of killing it, moving it to the ruler zone, putting a counter on it. So it's kind of like two different it's complicated. Healed would be if your ruler is astral and you heal it, then you can judgment them again. Kiki edition. Yep. I'm down for a Kiki edition. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Kiki.
Doesn't need to do anything.
Just Kiki.
Let's make one.
We have 3 cards that heal J rulers. Lars, the old Ryula, and the DBV Bruno Hill didn't kill it. There was the Odin card that if your ruler was dead, you could heal. I think it was the Odin, the DBV Odin.
I'm gonna look at that because I think you might be right.
Yeah, the DBV Odin, I believe, healed your ruler.
Sorry, we have 2 good cards that heal your ruler.
Yes, the Odin was not good. Steel Enter effects. I'm down for that for sure. Very cool cards. It has me excited. It's leaving me wanting more, which I'm very excited about. So we're in a good spot. So as we close up here tonight, do want to mention this Wednesday we will have a nice little exhibition. It's just a single game showing off exactly how the Featsing life loss loop works. We have an example kind of game showing you exactly the step-by-steps of what that deck does when implemented properly. So that's a lot of fun. We will also have later this week a tournament report from Paul And next week, I believe we are going to have another episode of the yearbook by Paul.
Mm-hmm.
And then on the 10th,
finally done.
And then on the 10th, we will have this spoiler season's exclusive Ruler School preview, which I'm very excited for. It's very cool cards that I've been given to show you guys. Very excited about that. Maybe they're related to the things that I'm interested in. Maybe, I don't know. We'll have to see. So that video will be up. There will be no office hours next week. I am going on vacation until next Wednesday. So you will be without us, but not without content, just without us live. So thank you all so much. Oh yes, Frank. First off, please go join the Ruler School Discord down in the description. We get discussions on that daily, and you can find players to play with online. You can find locals that are near you. Absolutely go check it out. And you can let us know kind of where you're at. We are active there every single day in the Ruler School Discord. Please check that out. Link in the description, or try to click into it now while we're live. And then if you're having problems, I can send you an invite that way. And then again, if we made you laugh, smile, enjoy yourself, get hyped about this set, be sure to check out Odyssey Games to get your pre-order, and consider clicking that little subscribe button or join button to support the channel financially or feed the almighty YouTube algorithm. So that is it for us for tonight. But until next time, this is Demo73 and Paul saying class dismissed. Have a great night, everybody.
Pew, 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 pew.